Hi all, and happy Saturday. So we are back for week 18. Yes, boy, it's coming along. So we'll talk about what the prompt is. I'll read it to you. We'll do a journal flip. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed that, and that things that come up during the week, I'll continue to share if I feel like it'll edify and bring more clarity to the previous week's works. I'm glad you guys like that as well. So that was great feedback that I got in the comment section this week. So thanks again. This week, I'll tell you what the prompt is, and then we'll look at and what we're going to do, and then we'll get to the table. So week 18 is travel destinations. I do a lot of traveling and a lot of travel journaling, and I've developed a lot of different techniques for how to travel and journal and kind of make it easy and concise, and not feel like I got to take a whole bunch of stuff, and yet still enjoy documenting my vacation or documenting that particular trip. And so we'll talk about some of that in this week's session, and we work in our journal. So you can construct a journal page around the last time that you traveled. So this is a really good one for us to do now because of COVID. Most of us have been locked down for the last year. Travel seems like a thing of the past. In some ways, I know I have my own anxiety about, will I ever be able to travel again like I used to? What will be some of my personal freedoms that may be challenged in order to travel? I mean, we got a lot of stuff. It's a lot of anxiety around this. I know personally, I can speak to my own, and I know people that travel a lot, like myself, have talked about their own personal anxiety. So this one is a good one because either, you can find that it's a great time, and this may be cathartic for you to kind of spill out into your journal, your feelings around travel. Maybe you'll just want to think about your last time you traveled and how much fun you had, maybe recounting that. So these are a lot of my favorite types of pages to create while on the road, and when I return home, just recounting a lot of the travel inspirations. And so I set myself up to win with my travel journal because I used to do all kind of travel journals, and half the time I never have all the information down on there. Oh my goodness. I really was so disappointed that I really had to teach myself techniques to journal in a style that was effective for me. And I found that this particular style worked for a lot of my students and stuff because a lot of the things I was being challenged by, a lot of people were like, always coming home and having half-finished journals and stuff like that. So, I'm going to share with you in this journal, and I'll show you one style of journaling. I'll talk about how I've done it, but we'll also flush out some of these techniques in our art journal so that it can kind of go both ways. And maybe you'll find that in your downtime, you may have some of this stuff that's laying around, like a lot of times we've gone places and it's just like in an envelope now or just stuck in the drawer, some of the postcards and some of the pictures and stuff like that. And we say, oh, I'm going to put that in the journal. I'm going to get it in a journal. And we just never do. And part of the reason why I know for me over the years is I wasn't really into the scrapbook or the memory book style of journaling. And that was the main one that was put out there. Put your pictures in the book, all that stuff. And over the years, what I did is I developed my own style of journaling that still looks like my artwork. So one of the journals that, this is one that we made recently in Patreon, but it's the passport style. So that's not lost on any of us. We've seen these sort of passport style journals. And this one was from the past. So this one I used to put a lot of pictures that I had taken when I was in university in London, and some of my friends. And so what I did is I did this sort of passport style, just recalling the past, the first time that I saw the Eiffel Tower. So these are actual pictures from my from the photos I took then, and I reproduced them, did a stamp over. This is a Tim Holtz stamp that went over top of it, and just really flushed it out. And all these pictures were ones that were taken during those years. This one is a picture of my friends here, and we were all hanging out that day shopping in London. I think we had gone to Harrods and all that kind of fun stuff the girls do. So anyway, we're going to kind of play around with this style of journaling. But if you wanted to journal like this, I'm telling you what I do. I get these little pocket sketchbooks at Walmart. They're like $1.98. Literally, a lot of times when I go in, I'll just pick up a couple of them. It's the Dollaroni one, and they're literally under $2. Then a lot of times I get them, I go ahead and just kind of coffee stain them, because I want, for me, my personal style, I like the pages to get old. So I normally keep one just ready to go. So when I'm getting ready to travel, I'll just pick this up, and I'll take, I always take, I love this acrylic paint, and I got this at Daiso a couple years ago when I was in Australia, and this is my to-go for travel paint. You saw me use it when we did the Burrow page spread. It was this, it's like a chalk paint, but I love this paint. I travel with that. I generally travel with the Tim Holtz tiny stapler, and I just like this. It's a little big, but I just throw this in my suitcase. But I like the little tiny staples, so it's an option for gluing that's non-invasive. It's little teeny staples, so I take that with me. I generally will take one of these little tins. Here's Tim Holtz again. I've got a couple of these, but they'll have different labels. I'll put a lot of the Tracy Fox labels and any kind of labels and stuff that I have. I'll keep in this little can so that I'll have a few of the things, some of my own. You guys know that I make my my postage stamps, you know, all of the stuff that you make. You can even put small bits of papers, like little smaller bits of paper. I will, like, this is one of the stamps that I've made. I'll put in this tin, so I'll have a lot of bits and bobs in there that will go along with my, you know, my journaling. So I have these items. So basically this, the book. Okay, I keep it really minimal. And then I have this little pouch that I made a while back, and in it is the rest of my things that I like to use. So, and these things I normally can travel and get right through security with. I normally always have a credit card, and it'll have some washi tape in it, some of my favorite washi tapes and stuff, so I have that. That's not new to you guys. This is my pencil sharpener, because I love these pencils. What is it? Can't think. The Black Wing. I'm sorry. The Black Wing pencils. I love these. So I normally carry this with my pencil sharpener, my Quaco ball, fountain pen to write with. And I've gotten the inks in all the various different colors. So as opposed to carrying all the colors, which I don't need, I just put one of each of the cartridges in like this. And so when I need to change my ink colors, or I run out of ink, I'm going to change the colors, I have that with me. I keep that in here. A couple of these black, felt markers. And these are like, what do you call these? They're felt, but they're also brush. They're like brush pen kind of markers. So I have a couple of sizes of those in there. My white pen that we've worked with. Normally I'll have this little expandable ruler. I like that because it's just a small one for measuring. These are some of my favorite little stamps. The Asian stamps, and they're self-inking, and they're real tiny. So these were gifted to me by my students, a couple students. They're sisters. I'll use the dot liner. This is a good one for just putting things down really quickly. So I normally have one of those miniature ones in there. I carry these scissors. A lot of times I get through security with them, honestly. But normally I don't chance it. So what I normally do, this will go in my suitcase with this. So normally I put these in my suitcase, to be checked together. But I just keep them in here when I'm not traveling. All this stuff stays in here. I have a bone folder, a small glue stick, and then this little thing is a perforator Tim Holtz, and it perforates things. And I like it because you can cut with it. It perforates, but you can cut with it and sort of tear paper that way. So for instance, I'll show you like what I'll do. And it gets through security because it's really not like a blade. Although there are the little small round Olfa blades that you kind of push up with your thumb and a little teeny blade comes out. I normally carry that as well. I don't know why it's not in here. I must probably took it out and didn't put it back in, but I normally will put that in my suitcase. It's a little teeny round one. But like with this, it perforates. So you get this perforated line that you can tear. So I like this. This is a Tim Holtz. And so you can keep it in there. It's not like it's a blade. It never gets stopped in security, but you literally can use it to cut with. So that's generally what I'm carrying in this bag. You may have some special items that you like, but generally this will get me through. So just giving you an idea, and all of this is all bound up together like this. And come on. And then all of this works together, and literally I can travel with this and do all of my travel journaling, and it works wonderfully. You can go with a larger book if you want. You know, you can change any of this, but this is what I often work with because I find it to be very effective. It's not too much stuff. It's easy to do this kind of stuff in the train, on the hotel, and on the plane without having too much stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a flip from, so that's what we're gonna be doing. I'll do a flip of from last week because you guys said you like that, and then we're gonna get down to the table. This is the one we did. So what I decided to do, I wanted to continue to do intuitive collaging like I had been doing, but I wanted to leave large spaces to either be able to write some of the ideas that have come from literary inspiration, maybe some chunks of text, you know, from one of my favorite novels or whatever. So I kind of did this style where I incorporated something that was visually interesting, but it's a large space that I could write in, or I could go back and do this sort of blackout work and on other pieces of from other pages and just glue it down on top. So I left this option because remember we're doing the 80, 85, 90% finish in our journal. So you don't have to finish this all out. We got a whole year of literary inspiration, right? So the point is to set yourself up for success, but maybe next month you're reading something and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to put that down. Well, look, you can flip to this page. You got a blank space ready to go and you can incorporate it. So here's another one. Working with a lot of bits and pieces, but just leaving spaces to be able to write things or glue other pages on top of it. Same thing here. This is a stained dictionary page that I could go back through and do blackout text with this. But yet it's all working together just as like a piece of art, which you guys know I'm really big on journaling and working in a way that still looks like art. This one I decided just to put the whole page down. It was a page that I had done some off printing on some Gelli print, you know, mono prints. And so I just put the whole thing down because I could just sit down randomly and black it out and create. One of you guys called it blackout poetry, and I never had heard of it as blackout poetry, and I love that. You said you've been calling it for the last couple of years. I don't know if that's something that you just intuitively started saying or you heard it somewhere, but I definitely like that. So, you know, the idea of the blackout poetry, and so you could definitely do that because the page is already set up now to be able just to do something like this when you're sitting around and you just, you know, just want to be randomly inspired. You can flip your book to the page. And so you could actually put one of these on all of your pages. Here again, sticking with a lot of the language and stuff, but I put this in there, which is sort of a stained receipt that I could, you know, write on again. I could glue some more book pages down here. So you get the idea. We just have nice collaged pages that we can still, you know, entertain the idea of literary inspiration. So there we have it. Next, we're coming down to the table. I think that's everything that I wanted to say to set us up for success. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so we are back. One of the things that I like to do when I first pull in to a new destination, maybe I'm on the airplane, you know how a lot of times you have those books that they'll give away. You pull into your hotel, down in the lobby, there are all the books for that, or like brochures and magazines that tell you what's going on in that city, you know, that kind of thing. A lot of times in your hotel room, they'll have those out and about type of magazines that they encourage you to take, and because it's a way for you to find out what's going on locally. It's a way for people to advertise. So all that stuff is there. I am big on drawing from all of that type of ephemera, and I use that to be able to work in my travel journal with. So in other words, the names of the cities, the names of the state, you know, the name of the country, some of the restaurants I'm going to, those things are already printed in these journals. And so I like to kind of cut them out, sort of like the ransom note idea, or the pictures are there, there's maps there. I mean, all that kind of good stuff is available for you, and it's already printed material. Oh, excuse me. It's already printed material, so why not go for it? Also, I'll get postcards and use the pictures and the images to put in my journal. So I had this Free People magazine that came in the mail that's just floating around. It's floating around the house. It was floating around my desk here, and I didn't get rid of it because I thought I'd just use it as a glue surface. You know, you just use it for the glue surface. But then we were getting ready to do this, and I thought, oh, let me pull this out, because there were some words like the creative spirit. I like that. The idea of free people, I kind of think that's a nice theme for one, just to get back out there. And then there were some images in the back, like this leafy section I liked. This color, the surf book, the beach. So I thought maybe I'll pull from some of these images and show you how I would take something like this. Let's say that I was actually, like, this is a destination. Like this is a journal, one of those travel magazines, let's say of Ibiza, right? So I'm there, I'm going to be around the beach, surfing, you know, all that stuff is going on. So this is perfect material for me to show you how I would use something like this to actually do my travel journaling. So since our inspiration is travel, oftentimes what I do too is I love this wood. It's an indigo type of watercolor, but so sometimes I'll just add some watercolor to the pages. So maybe what I would do, like how this one is, where is my book? Like how this has already been all coffee stained. So maybe I will come in with some watercolor and then just start kind of watercolor on all the pages so that they're done and that they're dry, just to add some extra background to the pages. Or maybe you don't want to stain the pages, but you want a lot of colorful watercolor. So pull out your watercolor palettes and just put any of the colors that you're inspired to on all the various pages. It doesn't matter where it goes. You might be covering up a lot of it or not, but that's a fun way to kind of get color and already have it down. So when you get where you're going, you could take your watercolor paints. Nothing wrong with that, because watercolors travel very easily. But if you didn't want to take them with you, you've basically already put a lot of color on the pages, and that will give you some inspiration. So there's a number of ways to really approach that. Since this is I love this color blue, and I feel like this, you know, I'm going with the Ibiza concept here. So beachy, summer, aren't we ready for that? So I'm just kind of randomly putting some on the page. Doesn't matter. Some of this will get covered up. This edge probably won't, so I'm gonna just kind of have this some watercolor going here just to kind of get that flow. Okay, so something like that. So maybe I would do all of my pages like that over the course of getting ready for my trip. Do so many, let them dry, so many, let them dry, let them dry, you know, that kind of thing. Then while this is drying, I'm definitely going to go ahead and cut out. I think I'm going to actually rip it. The creative spirit, because of course that really spoke to me. So that idea, I'm going to start thinking about how I'm going to build my page. Just got to the hotel, found this book in the lobby. I always take the hotel desks and just set them up as my little makeshift studio. The extra that I have right here, I'm just going to go ahead and sop it up so I'm not having to deal with it, because you know we're doing this in real time, so I won't actually have a chance to let it all dry. So and I like this wildflower too, but let's just see. I like creative spirit, so maybe down there. And then let's get over here to where I saw all that greens. Loved that. Like this right here, I really loved. And then I'm gonna just tear this whole page out because I like the beach too. So there was a little bit of water in the background. Sorry, let me close the window here in the studio because the air, I live close to a Air Force base, and they are doing their afternoon maneuvers. Okay, so maybe something like this. Just kind of want to get that beachy feel. We'll put that there. See, it's already coming together nicely, and I want these just really seeing this green leaves. It's really appealing. So I'm kind of figure out where. Well, that's looking good. And I tell you, I do this all the time. This is my go-to method of travel, you know, because a lot of times, you know, you take your pictures and you say, okay, when I get my pictures, when I get everything developed or blah, 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 you know, I get home, I'll print out all of my digital images. Something about this surfboard I really liked. So I'm just going to tear it out and we'll see what comes of it. It's that color, I guess. I really liked it. Figure out where to put that. Well, by that time you're home, you know, other stuff, life starts happening, you forget about it. So I say take the pictures from the magazines and stuff, and then, you know, when you get home, if you have a finished book, you're more likely to then add your pictures in. If you have a few pages that already has like the watercolor on it and stuff like that, you may leave a few of them blank, because a lot of times when I'm doing it, I'll go through, I'm looking for some text now. I'll go through and, this is looking good. I like this. I'll go through and leave some pages blank. Like I'll know, oh, okay, I know that I've taken pictures, especially when you have pictures with friends and stuff like that. You'll know, okay, when I get back and I develop the pictures, I'll put the pictures of me and such there. So the page may already have some watercolor or whatever you're doing on there. You could have jelly printed on them. You could have used acrylic paint, whatever, but you know that it's on there. And so then, you know, you can skip it. And a lot of times what I'll do when I skip that page, I'll just make a little note, you know, put the picture of me and Bendy there, blah, 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 at, you know, such and such or wherever we were. And then it's ready, you know, it's ready for you to respond to it. Oh, I love that. That little bit of orange is like just so needed against this blue. So I would probably construct a page like that. And then I think what I'm gonna do is take this word free. I like that. So you get all, you know, all kind of books like this. They're everywhere. I normally end up with so much of that literature. I just go and grab it all in the very beginning so that I have it. And just kind of, you go move around with your books. Like I said, when you see postcards, you know, you can work the postcards. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take washi tape and I'll take, okay, this is a postcard that one of my, I love this too. It's right up here. One of my patrons sent me. So like I would take a postcard like this and I would just take a little bit of washi tape and take the washi tape and double side it, you know, and put it there so that it makes a flip. And then on the back side of the postcard, I would just maybe glue just some regular paper. You know, a lot of times even the hotel, you know how they have those little notepads that are in the drawers? I'll take those and use my glue stick and glue some plain paper on the back. Or I'll just use what's already there. It just depends on what I'm going for. And then you can use this to write a little bit. Like if you visited this place, then I just write on the back of, you know, what I did, da, 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 and then that's there. And that could be a flip to, so like we could actually have this here, like over it, and then you can flip it and talk about what happened at the beach. So I do a lot of postcards and using them in my journal to add to my dialogue, and use something that's already, pictures and stuff that are already like ready to go. You know, it's not about having to reinvent the wheel. I could just do, I probably should, I could just do a workshop on how to do travel journaling. It's one of my favorite, and I find it was one of the hardest things for me to figure out how to do effectively. And I find it's one that gets a lot of people. Okay, so now I like that layout. Over the years, I've had so many of my students really interested in travel journals and how and my style of doing it, because it's one that gets a lot of us. So now I'm ready to go ahead and glue this down. So get me some waste paper. So we'll go ahead and glue this in place. I really like that setup. See how it's really easy. Really is easy to do these. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this down. Yep. And they're so much fun. So maybe we'll just do maybe I'll put a workshop together where we just have like a kind of create a pretend destination or something. I don't know. And we'll just all go on vacation together. How about that? Okay. Love that. So then this will go down next. And it's just that easy. So I'm encouraging you this week to, you know, go through some of your travel paraphernalia that you may have had just sitting back and never finished it, and start by putting some of it in your journal. Go ahead and finish some of it in your book, because a lot of times we have more than enough than what's needed, you know, for a travel journal. Or just just maybe do some journaling around a place that you would like to go. Let's just live vicariously and use your journal to explore going out to that location. So you can, whatever that is, let's say you've always wanted to go to Bali, you've never gone. Then, I mean, there's so much stuff on the internet. Just go on the internet, find stuff, print out a lot of stuff that's inspiring you about Bali, and then use that this week to create your pages in your art journal around Bali. Just, you know, nothing like dreaming, keeping that alive. So I'll put this down here. Love this creative spirit. I mean, so who would have thought it, you know, this from this Free People. Now, what I'm not crazy about is how white that is. So I should have a little bit of blue still on my brush. Let's see how much is on there right now that I can just, yeah. I can just kind of knock it back a little bit. This paper is a little, it's a little kind of glossy. So I don't know how well it's going to seep down in here, but let's just get a little bit more. Well, that's good. Okay, and then what I'll do is take it and turn it upside down, get some of it off. Oh, look how it did the reverse stamping of free there. It's funny. Cool. So that looks nice. I like that. So that'll go down there. Okay, that's much better. So yeah, just I normally also have this in, I didn't show you this in my bag because I had it up here. I have two of them actually, and this one I normally travel with. This one normally stays on my desk, but this one I travel with. I always travel with a water pen and a small, either just one container of watercolor, or I have a little small palette that I'll carry with me. And it's nice because you can kind of add a little color here and there like we just did, and it allows you to continue to expand the color palette, or like how I just did that to knock it back so it matches my scheme a little bit more. Okay, we'll put this here. Perfect. So with this done, one of the things that you can do, it still places to write, even with my white pencil, my white pen that I showed you guys, the Uniball, you can write there. Of course, black pen. So yeah, you can definitely just put your thoughts down. Go ahead and trim this. And, or like I was saying, do the flip. If you like, you really like your collage, like, you know, I would probably put a few words down there in this area, but you know, maybe it's not enough space to write, and then that's where the postcard would come in, and this postcard actually works nicely there. But the postcard would come in, and then that's where you would flip it to add the picture, but at the same time give you more space for writing. So I really like that. So it's easy peasy, very easy inspiration. Have a lot of fun with it, but definitely pick yourself a place that you've been to before and you'd love to go to again. If you could just travel out tomorrow, that's the place you'd go. Or a place that you've never been to before, always wanted to go, and now that things seem like, who knows, when we're traveling again, you're like, okay, I gotta just experience, you know, playing and just having my fantasy moments around going there, and select that. And so for the next 7 days, use that as inspiration. Or maybe, like I said, it's something that a place you've already been, you got lots of material on it, you said you were going to do, a journal, never got to it. Well, here's your time now. Put it in your 2021 art journal, and at least that'll be captured there. Even if you never actually do the journal, at least you've captured it here, that trip. And that becomes inspiration as we move forward. You may have several of these type of trips that at some point you'll decide, because you could do this in anything. You could incorporate in any of these pages. Let's say I have stuff I want to come back to, you know, maybe these pages here I could come back and put and flesh out 2 or 3 pages of a trip that I had taken and I have some material from. So I want to put it in here, you know, so we can move back and forth through our book. That's why we don't worry about if it's completely finished, because it gives us a place as we continue to move forward in the year, and I continue to give you prompts and we have inspiration. Some of that stuff, you know, you could put back on some of the other pages as well. Because what you're going to find out is that by the time we finish this, you're going to have so many ideas. That's why I call one of my courses the infinite pool, because it will be infinite. You will have so many ideas constantly. You will not in a week's time be able to actually put all of your ideas into the journal. So because this 7 weeks is about using language, it's about using literary inspiration, poetry, quotes, all of that during this 7 weeks. We're going to be exploring all of these things as a way to work with the left brain and the right brain, and using language and thoughts and ideas and integrating them in with our art. And we started with this, you know, the idea of language in our art journal. So we're going to continue to explore these things over the next few weeks. We're not done with language and words in our work. I think it's fundamental, especially as artists, as visual artists, where you want to be able to, at times, be able to put words and thoughts and language into your work, but you don't want it to look like a written journal, you know, or you don't want it to look so much like a sketchbook or something. You still want it to look like your art. So that's why we're going to explore this, so that we come up with lots of different ways of adding the element of language into our art. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit that bell so that you get all the notifications. Also, below this video in the description is the playlist and the link for the very first one. So you're new here, there's a playlist. You can just hit it, go through, catch up with us. And I guess that's everything. Until next week, thank you guys for all your comments. As always, I love the feedback. I love hearing what you all have to say. And yeah, we're just keeping it happy on my channel. We're just keeping it upbeat. And that's the only kind of energy that we are going to just have fun with. And everything else is real world stuff, and we're just not going to have it. So love you guys. Take care. And I will see you next week, and have fun with this inspiration, which is travel destinations. Alrighty? Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.